Alright, this video might come across as a little random, but this is a DIY channel, and I think I came across something that might help people in the same situation, so I figure I'll put it out there, and if it helps somebody, that's really what it's all about, right? So, what I recently had was an issue with hornets, and I'm pointing the camera at the eaves there, and you can see, if you follow along, there's a crack between like the upper siding and where it meets the eaves, and I had hornets going in there, so I'm gonna have to caulk that probably when the weather turns a little bit cooler. But I had a lot of activity with hornets and I had to deal with it, and if you look, we have a deck right here, and I tried this stuff, which I'm sure everybody's tried before. If it's a nest or something like that, it's usually very effective because you just kind of soak the nest and eventually they'll either leave or die off. But when they actually go through a crack and get into the home, that's kind of a different situation. I would spray with that stuff and I just couldn't get enough in there. Over probably 4 or 5 days, I tried 4 cans of that stuff, and it really didn't prevent them from continuing to use that as their home. And fortunately, I had a situation where I dealt with this in the past and it worked really well. So I broke out the old setup and I used it on these hornets, and almost immediately after getting some powder up there, all the activity stopped, and there's dead hornets kind of all over the place. So it's a very effective thing, and I don't know, if you've got a similar situation, you're thinking, how do I get up there? How do I safely spray? How do I get powder in a crack like that? So anyway, let me show you what I did. Alright, let me show you what I've got here. Alright, so like I said, sprays work fine with external hives and nests, things like that. You'll have no problem. That stuff, it shoots 20 feet, you're safe, you can be far away. But when you're dealing with cracks, or they're getting in behind siding or something like that, really the only way to kill or get rid of them is to use powders like this. Now this is kind of a general powder, you can get that at Home Depot. This I bought online. It's a little bit more specialized. This is really effective. Like, if you don't want to mess around, just get this. You can find this on Amazon. I'll put the names of these in the description. This is all over the place. Any hardware store you'll find that. But how do you get powder into a place like that? Alright, so this is what I did. This is electrical conduit, 1/2-inch conduit. Alright, you can get this in 10-foot lengths for like $7. This one actually is cut down. You can stack them, okay? So I could take a 10-foot piece, put it here, and now I've got 16 feet. So then I can just stand under here with the conduit and I can get the nozzle right into the crack. Here's what I did with the nozzle. You can buy these different fittings for the 1/2-inch PVC for electrical. They have 90 degree, this is a 45. You can get different ones, maybe grab a few. I didn't glue any of this, so if you had a few different types, you could kind of tailor it to your situation. All you have to do is pressure fit. You don't have to glue. And now what I did at the end here is I took a heat gun, heated up the PVC, and just compressed it so that I could get a nice narrow kind of exit there, so I could fit that into the crevice. And this worked okay for me, but again, you could have a few different tips depending on where you're trying to get access to. So basically it's as simple as that, right? You're probably thinking, well, how do I get the powder from that into the crevice? All right, so in my case, I used a portable compressor. I've got one of these attachments. It's just a general sprayer. You know, you want to spray cobwebs, things like that. I mean, you can do a lot with this thing, but in this case, the tip fits perfectly into the end of a 1/2 inch. I kind of sealed it by putting my hand over it, but I didn't even have to. When I blast this, it's going to push the powder up and out. Now, if I didn't have this, I probably would have figured something else out. I think, you know, a shop vac would work. You would just have to adapt down to the 1/2 inch, use duct tape, whatever. You can figure it out, but basically you're going to need some propulsion to get the dust out of here. Then the next question is, well, how did you get the dust in? How did it stay in? How did it not fall back? In that case, what I did was I just made kind of a wad. You know, if you think about like a musket, the way they used to contain and separate the gunpowder from the lead, basically I just made a square and I plunged it down into the tube about this far, and then I took my my funnel and removed the tip here, put my funnel on, filled it up, filled it to the wad, then just brought it to where I needed and pulled the trigger, and bam. So this worked really well twice, and I probably could have used it a lot more over the years. So if you're having an issue like this could be something to consider. I'll give you a real quick demonstration. So let me just set the camera up. All right, so we want to fill this with powder. So we could just remove the tip and fill through the 45, but it'd be even easier if we just separate it. And like I said, nothing's glued. So now I've got to hold the pipe vertically, and then I'm going to plunge my wad in there to stop any of the powder from going too far down. So let me do that now. All right, so let me show you. I've got a snake right here. It's a cable snake that I'm going to use to plunge the paper towel down into the tube. I've got the tube on steps, just makes things easier, but you could hang this off a deck or go up on a ladder, whatever you got to do. You got to get it a little vertical because you're going to be pouring powder in. But I'm going to get the paper towel started just with my finger, and you can see that's what's going to catch all the powder. Now I can take my snake and just push it down, and however far down you go, that's how much powder you're going to put in there. So depending on your application, you can figure out how much you want to do. So let's fill this with powder. So I'm going to use the 7 because this stuff's cheaper, just to demonstrate. But just note that this is really fine powder, and if it gets caught in the wind, it's going to blow. So just be aware of that. You want to keep yourself away from this as much as you can. And so let's fill it up here. Not sure if the camera's going to catch that. You can see I'm kind of jiggling the pipe as I'm doing this, just to get that stuff to go down. Sometimes it'll clump up like that, and you just give it a shake. It'll work its way down. All right, I'm not going to fill it. You guys get the point. Let me go get the end for it, and we'll be right back. All right, here's the compressor. Again, this could be 20 feet long. It'll still work. So hopefully you'll be able to see the powder come out. But I'm taking my compressor end, putting it in there, and then let me hold it like this, and you'll see. All right, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. All right, so that's basically it. Pretty simple. I would just advise, before you load this with powder, you want to get the length of the PVC, you want to get your angle right, you want to get the tip, make sure it fits where you want to apply the powder. And you know, go out maybe early morning or late night when there's less activity and just test it out before you load it with powder. And the other thing is, give yourself enough length where you're out of the way and you can kind of drop things and just run out of the area. Depending on how aggressive these things are, you may not have to worry about it, but you know, basically I just pull the trigger, then I lay the thing down and just get out of there. But the powder is really effective. It's going to get in the area where you're trying to get in, and once it gets on contact with bees, hornets, they have like little fur on the outside of their body. That powder will get in their fur, and then that's it. You'll see the activity will die down very quickly. So that's it. Hopefully this helps you guys. It really came in handy for me, so I wanted to share. Good luck.